And one of the things I believe you do, I don't know if you still do, but you have done, you taught acting classes back home in Australia. What is it that you look for when you're teaching someone acting, but also what is the best advice you give them?
Look, the reason we go into any creative field, think about this. If you go into any creative field and you think, I want to be rich and famous, strike the old song, then you're really going to set yourself up for failure. Do you know what I mean? But if you go in because you're absolutely fascinated by it, there's a drive within you that you can't feel satisfied unless you're doing this. This is all forms of creativity, by the way. If that's what's driving you, then and only then will you be able to absorb what it takes to take the steps and to learn the steps. Because the chances of becoming rich and famous in any creative field are so minuscule. But the ability to get great enjoyment and satisfaction out of them are massive. Do you know what I mean? And we're great in everything we do. And if you think of that and take the joy of it, and not to think that you're going to be measured. Your only success as an artist is if someone else recognises you. That's a real trap. Even though it might happen, we like it when it does, it's the wrong way to go about it. And I can almost guarantee you now that those young men and women that I've taught that came in with that attitude are not doing it anymore. Almost without exception. And some of the beautiful people I've taught have done terribly well because they came in with a passion for business. There's the difference.
And is that then when you see them, and you see them on the television, or you see them on the film, or you hear back from them,
yes.
That must fill you with an enormous sense of pride.
Oh, enormous. Thank you, Stuart. It's, and with the young actors that I've worked with over the years, too, as I've got to be an old actor, I get such a thrill when I see them doing really good work, you know. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Particularly if they've broken through certain barriers. Things that were frightening and things they thought I could never do that. Or exposing emotions that they didn't think they could do. I remember doing a fringe and I worked with a beautiful young lady called Jessica Nicole who played the astronaut character. And she had never cried on stage, which is something I think that must be difficult. But it's a real vulnerability required to do that. You've got to let go of everything and just go with the moment. And we finally did one episode and it was called Chinatown. And a lot of stuff between me and her, but to cut a long story short, I came back to the lab. She'd been beaten up by someone. She thought I'd disappeared. It was a really important scene. She said, John, she was shaking. She didn't know how to do this. She said, I feel so vulnerable. Because we were really close. Anyway, she did it and she did this breakdown. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. But she was shattered. She was absolutely shattered up. She could hardly talk because of the risk that it took to expose herself, to make herself that vulnerable. That gives me enormous pride to see something like that. And you know, as an actor, if you're not vulnerable, we cannot connect with you guys. If there's not a vulnerability there, we can't connect with you. When I watch a show, I want to have an attachment to each character, whether I like them or dislike them, whether they're someone that has a flaw that I have or a strength that I have, but I care about them and I care about their relationships. That's the storytelling, and that makes me really interested in the show, as against, you know, sort of heroes that come out and just basically do what they do and smack them around. That doesn't do it with me, because they're not like me, and I can't identify with them. That's just one of my thoughts anyway. All the great actors that I've ever watched in my life all have the ability to be incredibly vulnerable, which means, translated, are prepared to make a fool of themselves, which translated means that's the greatest fear many of us have, is to make a fool of ourselves. So that's where you have to go in this process.
Understand? And we have a question from a gentleman on the far right.
Oh, hello, sir.
Hi, John. Thanks for coming this weekend. The late actress Beryl Reid, when asked how she found her characters, she said, I can play the character, but if I don't find the right pair of shoes, I just can't find the actual character. Do you have something similar where you have to find one specific thing to find the character?
No, I don't. But all actors have their own paths in. It might be costume. I've heard many actors talk about costuming. Many actors will talk about getting the accent right. That will help put in there. There are many roads to Rome. We hear a lot of talk about different methods of acting, and people say, oh, I am a barber, I'm a business. And it really worries me. All of these things are simply aids for us. But don't become a prisoner to any of them, because they'll limit you. So if yours happens to be that I'm not wearing the right underpants, I can't do it, absolutely fine. However that works for you. But to become limited because some teacher said it's nothing to do with your underpants, you've got to do it, you shan't. So your individual creativity must come into play. Not that I'm having anything, I love technical acting, I do it all the time, you have to. But that's not the way to become a good actor.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, hello.
Hi. Oh, that's really loud. I have actually two questions. I'll ask the first one. The first is, out of all the characters you've played who've unfortunately died, if you could save any of them, which one would it be and why?
Well, I've been killed many times. I've had so many rehearsals. I said to my wife, don't worry about that, but it's all rehearsed. When it should happen. When it should happen. Look, in the arc of things, whether you're doing a tragedy or something else, there needs to be an end date to things. The character that I was probably most in love with was Walter Bishop, of late, you know. But he had to go. There was no way he could stay. He didn't die, he just went off with love. Do you know, you've got to allow fate to end. Otherwise you really drag off into, it will form storytelling circular and ceases to be interesting. It's a real trap in storytelling terms. So when they say there's an arc that needs to be completed with this, I say, yes, I understand. Let's tell that story. And tell me exactly how to play it through to the redemption stage or otherwise. Do you know what I mean by the redemption stage? Yeah. So you reach a point where something is resolved and then your journey is finished. Just to hang around is like yesterday's movie really is. It doesn't serve any purpose. Yeah, probably gets paid for a couple of years. Thank you for the question. Second part?
It's more of a request, which is, can I have a hug?
Oh my God, of course, come see me after.
Okay.
In the back room.
Yes,
hello.
Hi. In your recent role as the Scarecrow, what challenges did you find using solely your voice rather than using your physical acting?
Doing voice work is really interesting. It's much more a cooperative thing than you may think. So with Scarecrow, it could easily be done something like this, you know, going around, you know, that sort of voice. You could have done that. One might have sold, but it didn't feel right to me, and it certainly wasn't what the creators had in mind. So I work closely with the creators and with the director in the sound studio. There is a director that works with me, or a producer sometimes called, and we fiddle around with a few things. What they asked me to do there was this Scarecrow character. We don't want to turn him into something that's inaccessible, just a monstrous character. We want him to be human, albeit, you know, on the very dark side. But he must be a human being. So the voice then comes out as a normal voice, but with that slight sinister thing that you may have if all of your objectives are evil, or to, in this case, to diminish Batman because of the woundings that he's had in life. So I make them human. Unless, as I said, it's a fun character, sort of character voice, but I make them human. And then, on advice from the directors, we find out where to go. Scarecrow is actually a human voice. It's not that far off mine, except that it's tainted by hatred. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
That's the way I approach it anyway. I never think of things, I always look for the character within things, and I think all actors will do that too. So you look at the character, and Scarecrow is a very complex character. You know, we talk about complex characters. If I looked at him and I did, as what sort of person would this be that went to these lengths, I'd say, oh, I understand that. I, John, understand it, therefore I can play that. Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference. It sort of links in with what I was saying before about character development.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for this morning, for wandering down to breakfast and bumping into Walter Bishop.
You told me to be here with this sword. I saw the sword. I wondered if it was you.
It is indeed. My question was, I work in psychology, and it was wonderful to see a character like Walter Bishop being portrayed in such a genuinely complicated way. He's not really particularly stereotyped. And I just wondered how it felt to play a character with such a complicated set of mental health issues, and whether it left you with any reflections about that at all.
Okay. To approach a character, we're talking about that acting here, but approach a character like Walter Bishop, I mean, I needed to do in-depth research about a couple of things. One, I needed to start to read more about theoretical physics, cutting edge, what is feasible in the concept. I needed to obviously study the psychology of a character. I do that anyway all the time. But I also needed to study the psychology of a genius. You know, that rare one or two people in the world that live on that plane so far above the rest of us, and how they socialise. And there is recording, this is documented. So you find out all sorts of things about it. Then I wanted to find out what are the long-term effects of a man that had used what we call recreational drugs for experimentation, which he did, as did many men at Harvard. You may have heard of the Harvard experiments in the 80s. That was what they did, and he was of that ilk. And so you say, okay, what are the long-term effects of that? Then he was put away because he was a nuisance into a mental asylum for 17 years, basically in isolation. So what are the effects on a person, of any of us, if we've been put into isolation for 17 years and fed, no doubt, a very strong cocktail of drugs to keep you quiet? So, it sounds exhausting, I'm sorry, but that's what we need to do. So when we first met Walter Bishop, he was a bit of a wreck, you know. He was a wreck, almost like a hermit, and he couldn't get words out. He said stupid things all the time instead of some of the time. But that's the journey. You know, as an actor, that's what makes it so fascinating. It really makes it fascinating to do that, rather than just going and giving it a voice. And that's what keeps me adoring what I do for a living, as I always have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Fringe is a great show, I really love it. And obviously Walter Bishop's quite a vulnerable character in himself. What was it like in the episode where you switched from the very vulnerable and quiet Walter to the old Walter that was more aggressive? Because it was such a powerful shift, but very subtle.
It was a wonderful thing to do because, again, we talk about development of characters. That was an episode called Peter, the episode season 2, which I think is still classified as many people's favourite of the episodes. You know, I knew some history, obviously, that had been written about the guy, but I had to think, the man that was so driven to do the things he did, that was so brilliant and so driven, you know, what would he have been like before he learned humility? You understand what I mean by that? And then, so you come up with this other man, same man, but he had no humility. He hadn't been brought down to earth. He was still flying high, taking all the glory. And that was the character you saw. Until in that episode, he was arrogant enough to think, my son will not die, I'll go and get another one. That's incredibly arrogance, playing God, which is what he did. And the rest of the series was based on what he'd done there, and his relationship with his son. But I had to go back there. I couldn't take our nice old Walter back. I couldn't take Walter back. So I had to invent a new one and have lots of tastings, which takes a lot of believing. It wasn't bad for you. I thought, gee, that's not bad. I might keep that now. Thank you for the question.
Hello. I have an apology and a very silly little question. My apology is because 2 years ago at Gala 31, I met you, and I stood at your table and cried a bit. Walter is very special to me, and I met you shortly after I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's dementia.
Where was that?
Pardon?
Where did that happen?
At Gala 31 in Los Angeles.
Oh, Calvary. No.
Gallifrey,
Oh, yes.
the Doctor Who convention.
Oh, okay. All right, yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Sorry.
No, thank you for the apology, but not necessary. I hope you're recovering okay. It's true. It is. I love it.
It is, and the portrayal of Peter and Walter together is just very authentic. And
Thank you so much.
my grandmother and I had a weird relationship in her life, but I was her primary caregiver. And my very silly little question is, Walter likes lots of sweeties and desserts, and I wanted to know if you have a favorite.
I have lots of favourites. Lots of favourite things to do, and I don't do most of them anymore. I've only got, well, this is boring, but I've really only got one vice left. I still have an occasional cigarette. But the rest of them had to go if I wanted to keep working, you know. To work on television is really exhausting. And so I realised that you can't keep living that life if you want to keep doing this. So it was one or the other. So I just cut all the other stuff out. So I don't eat sweets, but I've got so many favourites. I'm sitting around here in the green room looking at all the Danish stuff. No one look, please, but I don't. I'd suffer the consequences, I think. But thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Hi. I'm a big fan of Fringe right from the beginning. I have two questions. My first one is, what is your favourite episode? Not necessarily what you filmed, but just as an episode, what is your favourite?
Oh dear, I mean, there were different stages. There were so many different stages of the journey. I mentioned Peter earlier, which was a remarkable challenge in itself. And really that was a strange episode because the other two leads weren't in it. It was really just me and some other actors. I loved that episode because it told me and told an audience so much about why Fringe was what it was and how we got to be where we are now. And also the challenge of playing that much back is that, you know, there was some of the fun ones where we did Brown Betty and the singing episodes. It was a shame really. We just kept doing everything. So I loved the episode towards the end when Walter and Walton finally sat down and talked to each other man to man with a sense of understanding. I adored that because in my process, that to explain how can you be Walter and Walton at the same time, you can be. It's like sliding doors. What happens in your life? You know, you're a young man, you meet, say, a woman, but you're too shy to approach her. So that opportunity passes, for example. So your life goes on that track. What would have happened if your life had gone on that track? So sliding doors, you know the movie? And this happens all the time through our lives, through circumstance or whatever. And in that case, there was a sliding doors effect. Whereas they're both equally brilliant. One went down the path of this, where he finished up in a mental asylum. One, because of circumstances, finished up as a national leader. Sliding doors. So that's really interesting to play at all times. And that's it's just like our lives, isn't it? You know, what happened if the train wasn't running this morning, you wouldn't be here today. Do you know what I mean? It happens all the time. Thank you.
My second question is one of my favourite scenes, and I just bawled my eyes out. It was in the last episode. What was it like filming that scene, that sort of final goodbye with filming with Josh Jackson, with Peter, where you were like, you were my favourite scene?
Oh, that one? Oh my God. I love that. I thought you were talking about the big windswept one.
No, that scene with him was fabulous.
It was so funny. For those that don't know, in the final episode, there's finally a resolution between the father and the son, a beautiful resolution. And the writer kept saying to me, he said, I'm working on something terribly special. He was telling me this months before, I'm writing something, and he wouldn't show it to me. And he said, no, I'm getting it right. And then we finally came up with that little scene between Peter and Walter. And Josh Jackson and I looked at him and went, oh my God. And we, believe it or not, we did it in one take with each camera. You know, normally it's much more than that. Yeah. And there was just that on him and that on me, the director said, not touching it. Bigger was there. And it was so intense. Because I love Josh.
I still cry when I watch that.
No, I did just something about it. You know, my favourite Peter. Very big. It was a beautiful scene. There's some glorious writing on that show.
Yeah, it was. And your acting was great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Good.
Right, this is our last question now. Jonathan, this gentleman here.
Time flies. Thanks, Jim.
Hi.
Hello.
In Fringe, there are a lot of scenes with you naked. Were you ever actually fully naked?
Yeah, well, Yes. I kept saying, you've got all these beautiful young people in there. Why am I the one that has to get naked all the time? I'm sure they'd rather see Josh Jackson or Anna Torp than anyone. I think they must have clauses in their contract saying, we will not be naked. And it's so funny because they try to be decent about it. They realise you don't want to show your pecker, usually. I didn't. So that they come up with all these really complicated things where you get stuff strapped over your old boy. But the girl that had to do it, she was a lovely young woman. She didn't know where to look. And I was sending her up hopelessly, you know. I said, no, you haven't got that. Put your hand down there. She was a friend of mine. But ultimately, you know, you still see the bum, the legs, and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think we ever had to thank that. I've had to do that on stage. It's truly embarrassing, believe me. So it's just fun. You know, we talked about vulnerability earlier in the acting process. That's one of the most vulnerable things you can do. Unless you happen to be, you know, some really hot young guy, and that's cool. You should bring it on. But the two times that I had to do it on stage, going back a long time now, on both occasions I had to put on a lot of weight for the character. So I was a blob. And also come out with the dangling. And the terrible thing happens to men, which the men will notice, will realise, that when you're nervous, anxious, or under threat, ring! You know exactly what I mean, don't you? Yes. So this happened particularly on opening night. You go, oh no, please God, don't do that. That's what you do. There, you learn vulnerability and humility at the same time. Saw it about 3 weeks into the run. Oh my Lord! Particularly when you sort of pull this. Thank you for that question.
Ladies and gentlemen, the brilliant John Noble. She's already moving quickly.